Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am truly excited to get started again today. And I know I say that often, but the familiarity, knowing that I'm joining my family, this is the way I feel when I click go live. That's what's happening right now. This is my community. I was considering the facts earlier. Why am I so excited to get started? Holy cows, it might be the only conversations I get to have today with other people. It's been bizarre, but brothers and sisters, I'm excited and encouraged once again today. My encouragement through the stream is for us all. Peace be with you. Love is with me, and love brings me forth each day. Today, happy Wednesday to all of you, right? Thank you. There is a miracle in your mess. Don't let the mess make you miss the miracle. Sometimes we see things happening in life, and sometimes, yeah, life is messy. Sometimes you got to clean up the messes, maybe not even your own. Maybe you got to just a mess you got to clean up from someone else. It's real easy to get caught up and overwhelmed by tasks or problems in your life. But what I found for myself, and I want to encourage you, it's with practice and a positive mindset. You can become a participant in the miracles. The miracles, when we've got a mess, the miracle is the solution. The miracle is getting it transformed. And life feels greater when you know that every problem has a solution and order emerges. While it may look like it's chaos and it may look like it's out of control, order emerges from our patterns, from the patterns of things that are. I'm speaking pretty generically, but hey, when it comes down to it, surrender. Surrender to accept that which is. Don't get overwhelmed by the problems. Don't get overwhelmed by the messes, but surrender to the fact. All right, sometimes in life, there's some work to be done. Sometimes in life, we got to step out and do things we maybe thought we wouldn't have to. But when we know that problems have solutions and order emerges, even in chaos, we can surrender to the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of love and wisdom that's here with us in the present. Surrender to that Holy Spirit for the solutions and the answers to emerge through you. And that way, even though there's problems and messes to deal with, realize the one in the mirror, you're the miracle that God sent to that mess. You're the one who has the opportunity to bring the transformation. Today, the topic, and I'm going to drop the link pretty soon here. I'm just easy going again today, but boy, I am inspired. I've been praise God. I have been, and praise God, you are, because the topic today, transforming resentment into appreciation. Transforming resentment, the things we hate, the things we despise, we dislike, we just can't accept or understand. If we can transform those things into appreciation, hello, then you don't have things to worry about. You don't have things to dislike. It's like pretty simple and obvious. Forgiveness is the path. That's what was shown through, oh, so many. Praise God. Praise God. Sincerely. That's where I'm at today. My love for God is true. I found that trying to clumsily follow my way. I found my way to trying to follow the way of Jesus. Man, you tell people that's what you're doing, and holy crap, all of a sudden the expectations of you got to be perfect, man. But I don't think we do. I don't think we have to be perfect. I think we get to become better. Every one of us gets to become better than we ever were before. The only thing it takes is, well, recognizing that within you. That was my note. Oh, you've got a life. I've got a life, right? Whether it's eternal and reincarnated and repeated, I lean that way. But whether it is or not, we've got a life we are living. And in this life we're living, all of time is within you. All of your time is within you. All of my time is within me. And I actually think that's the eternal perspective as well, because the eternal spirit, the soul, would be like an eternal memory. We're gathering information and different experiences in this lifetime as a human being. It's kind of a cool trip, man. Living. I mean, I used to think living sucked, but then I started thinking about it. Compared to what? What's in the absence of living? Well, I don't know. I just get to know that I live. And that's a pretty cool gift. Brothers and sisters, I want you to consider this possibility. If you're here with me, if you're part of this Talcottian journey, it is we. This is history being documented, being created every day. And I feel within myself that God will be rewarding me for my efforts. It's just nothing I can prove, but I have faith. I have so much faith in what I've learned. Well, I'm convinced that we can change the world. Because where I was going at is it was inspired from yesterday's conversation. I got a clip too. You know what? I may as well do her. There was a clip from yesterday's stream with our friend and brother co-creator, Flow State. And it was just something that I noticed and paid attention to. He's getting signs. Here, I'm going to speed it up. There.
Have you seen this?
I don't know. No. There's a picture of him as a saint, right?
I didn't make this. I know it looks like something I would make. I didn't make it. And Katie found it the other day.
Hey, look at the signs. Look at the signs. They're there for you.
Wait, did I just become Jesus again?
We are.
Have you seen this?
That's what I think. I think we are. I think we are the saints, unrealized, all of us, especially if you are tuned in here and you're a part of this journey. Even if you don't really accept me yet or really understand me yet, we're a part of something pretty damn cool. Because we are the saints. The new world is emerging. The world is transitioning from the old ways. We're watching the self-destruction of capitalism and the old ways. The entire systems are at war with each other, and human beings are dying and suffering as a consequence. But I believe that we are in the darkness. We've been in the darkness. Mankind has been in the darkness, confused, ignorant, obedient, and following everybody's rules, regulations, right? Working hard to earn those paychecks and making sure you're never late on those taxes. Holy crap, man. It is biblical. What we're experiencing is biblical. If you can accept the stories from the Bible, we are continuing. It's just we each got a different perspective of what we've learned in the past and what we're experiencing today. But what I found true freedom was this was my prayer earlier. I was just so grateful. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. It is a mindset. The mindset of thank you, God. Everything I need is here. And I have everything I want. I have no wants unfulfilled. That is the true freedom. When you are not attached to the material or to whatever opinions, when you're not attached to even goals, even goals can become traps for us. Plans can hold us back. We can make all sorts of excuses to follow plans and then all sorts of excuses to be angry or upset when our plan didn't work out. I went through all that crap, man. I went through all that crap. And here's where I'm at today. I'm still presenting Jack. I've been saying the same things for many years, but I'm growing in my ability to say it simply, more calmly. Where was I going with that? There was a reason I brought that up. It was one of the inspirations from today. Oh, all of your time, back to this idea of time, all of the past that we have experienced, whether we're aware of what we're carrying around within us or not, we're carrying around in our DNA and the actual metabolism of our body, how everything's working. We're memories. We're memories that came into form of being. The memories of a body and material structure brought us into being the man, woman, color, whatever, the shape we are. But every bit of the future, every bit of potential in your future, it's already there within you. I didn't understand that for a long time. I had heard these things long ago said different ways, and it didn't make sense to me, but it is true. The universe is you. You are the universe. Now, there's no separation from you and the rest of the universe, at least on this timeline. There's no separation from anything whatsoever. What I've become convinced of is the philosophies of unity, the idea of oneness, of love, of transparency and honesty, of cooperation and balance. These are the natural ways we're supposed to live. We were born into, and the politics and economics still creates a very imbalanced structure. The imbalance from the structure, whoops, I froze there. The political economic systems, if I'm back, it creates a severe imbalance in society. And that imbalance has been incorporated into the beings, and it's excuses and lies that keep us all divided. Hey, here's a man who understands, and I welcome you back. How you been, Denizen?
Pretty good. I'm trying to get in on this transforming resentment into appreciation. Do we have a
Beautiful.
step by step on that, Jack? Because I need some of that.
It can seem impossible. The first step. I love that, and thank you. Back to the topic, the helpful stuff. Um, it seems impossible until it's not. That's the way life works out. Things seem undoable until you experience it and see, oh, I guess I was wrong. So recognizing that there is a way to appreciate what you resent, that's the first key, is opening up to the idea that maybe my opinion, maybe the resentment, maybe it is something that can be overcome. Every one of us is in our own individual life path, but what I truly found, uh, being honest, I'd rather feel good than be right. You know, I guess I've gotten used to being wrong. It's not so frightening to me anymore. This is where my transformation came from, too, truly. I know it feels better to appreciate things. To appreciate, we've got to be strong enough, brave enough to be humble, to be able to see the good despite the pain, despite the whatever. What I found for experiences, just very generally, what helps me is the recognition that, well, at least I'm out of it. At least the pain is, the threat is gone. I survived another crazy thing. And now it's just time to focus on healing. And that's where I think this is where I feel confidence in my own path is I haven't really been, well, the experience has brought me to here, and I feel as though I've not created the opportunities yet for me to shine, for me to really be able to share what I've been learning. What I've been studying is healing, how to be emotionally, physically, spiritually healthy. It's so important for us all. Humbling ourselves to the fact that, okay, I can do better. I can be better. I can rise above and be the better person. That's what I've been trying to do. Hey, I love you, Denison. Feel free to interrupt at any time. You're so polite and patient. Um, and I really
I can
do.
manufacture patience.
You do. Hey, you are one of those that I've been paying attention to. Your ability to communicate, even when others are emotional, and that is a gift. It's a gift that honestly I hope to
It took a lot of work.
Yes, that's why you and I are here. We've been working on ourselves, trying to improve the ability to communicate. My suspicion is you're much like me. You got misunderstood a lot. Probably probably betrayed because of what they thought. They misunderstood. You get blamed. Um, that's why I've been studying communication. Because I've
Yeah, I
been
noticed that me and most people around me are talking a different language all the time. So just being able to communicate on a regular basis, forget, trying to have a professional relationship or an intimate relationship, that, that's even more difficult. But just being able to talk to people on a normal day-to-day basis took effort for me.
Oh, really? Discomfort from you, or you just didn't, you saw no value?
Mm, it's hard to say they're two are mutually exclusive. I'd have to
Sure.
admit to a desire and a discomfort on my part. and then also at the same time, you know, you know how some people need to be around others in a social environment to recharge and feel invigorated. I'm the
Mhm.
opposite. My solitude recharges my battery, and the more I have to deal with others, the faster it drains.
I could see that. I mean, I understand that. Welcome, Hank. Another good communicator. This is what I mean. We've
Yes,
got
I'm one of a couple people on the internet that can speak Dennis's language natively, pretty much.
True. And
you
he
guys
has a very effective use of language that I don't necessarily have. Hank does.
you guys just reminded me. That's actually what I'm hoping to find. Once you realize what you're lacking, then you got a little better idea of what to look for. I'm hoping to find people who will help me, who will help translate me so others understand what I'm saying. And I think that's what we're all here to do, is to help each other understand each other better. It's only
It
because,
does.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. It sounds like this resentment into appreciation is a shift of focus and kind of looking on the bright side. Am I miss? Okay, so that's valid. I wouldn't say that's not true or that's a cop out, but that wasn't exactly what I was hoping for. The transformation of actual resentment into appreciation. I thought maybe you had a trick for that.
Back to that. Thank you. What you heard is kind of right. The idea of the silver lining. In my own practice, I identified it as experiential alchemy. And if we realize we are the master, we get to control how we feel, what we think, and what we do. I want to take those unpleasant feelings and I want to twist that shit around. I don't want to carry that.
Yeah.
And what I found is that's really the our psychology, our beliefs, our personality. It all comes from the story we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
So if you can find a way to change the story you tell yourself, and this is where I can be very, very helpful. Um, the if you can change the way you tell the story, though, and you're still honest, if you can find what you learned, how you became better from the experience, that's what betrayal does. People who we think we can trust, we've been absolutely committed to them, and they just knife in the back, right? Well, you learn strength in yourself that really, when it comes down to it, nobody else is responsible for us. I won't say we're not responsible for others, but in the end, it is only us. And so I didn't want to blame others for how I felt anymore. And that's what I realized I had been doing. I'd been
Yeah.
playing a victim in my mind, and that pissed me off. And so it was when I was able to change the story, and really to change the story, I looked at, okay, maybe I didn't receive value, but maybe they receive value from me. And if I can help someone be better, if I can help their life improve, well, then, okay, that gives me something too. Makes sense?
It does. I'm
Yes.
thinking, I'm realizing some things too as you're talking that might be uncomfortable.
Yes, I do. I am too. I'll go first because I could I won't boil when it's it takes one more harder to melt me than denizen. So the thing I want to point out is you could change your story, but there's a limit to where your story breaks when you're not honest. And
Yes.
honesty
Yeah.
is when you can have a related to the universe. So a lot of people's stories don't actually have a relationship to the universe, and they're not honest, and the story's just not relevant to where we are right now.
Hank, that is, yes, that's the key too, is to be honest. Um, it's really bad if we're making ourselves feel bad and then it turns out we weren't actually honest with ourselves. That's what I had done. It's, I call it confusion, but it's been normalized in society. People are literally out of their minds. Well, they're not out of their minds, they're trapped in their memories and reactions. And I used to live that way. But being honest, that is the key. Honesty with compassion, those are the key. And to be honest, that brings it back to the teachings of Christ. To be saintly, you be honest with compassion. And sorry, I took us off from where you were at, Hank. There was something I wanted to swing back to.
No, you didn't. Keep going.
All right. I don't know. Oh, the honesty. Yes, if we're not honest with ourselves, just think that thought through. If we believe in lies, we start living in a false reality. It may appear that we're here and we're doing things, but we weren't.
Yeah, you got it.
I notice people live in their false realities. I can observe it, and they still get along with each other more than with me. Even if I'm in a false reality, even if I tell myself, "Hey, don't be so arrogant to assume that you know what's true," and I assume that I'm wrong as well. Um, that I can see other people's realities don't confer with one another either. So, one of them has to be incorrect as well. Yet the compatibility is completely different.
Hank, are you following what he's saying there too?
Oh, absolutely. And pretty much what I'm afraid of doing, I don't know, Desmond's afraid of doing it too, is just go ahead and stack on the falsities, because then I lose track of where the actual universe is. So I don't want to go the other way.
Yeah, I've been there too. I forget about the actual universe in my old age. Yeah.
Well, hey, what I heard you describing, that's what I've recognized this society is doing. It's enabling each other's confusion. People are living in different realities, coexisting, and they're not actually communicating with each other. They talk at each other. and, and we make excuses for each other, keeping each other disagreeable and bitter and confused. That's what I had been living, and I didn't realize it. Hey, and this is where I'm kind of excited for the future because, like I said, if I'm right, this is all for a greater purpose. And there you go. That's the key to overcoming the small view that keeps us in trauma or stuck in the past, is realizing there's a much greater picture. And the other part I reminded myself is, while I'm focused on the past and, wondering what are all these other people doing, I'm not living my life. I'm not creating the future that I want. And if I'm thinking about things I don't have anymore, well, I'm just punishing myself, I guess. What I found is a focus on the future allows me to see the bigger picture. And I was thinking about this earlier. You guys are a part of my experience. You are my community, my family. It's become this way. And I have so much for my son to learn from. When he and I reunite, oh my God, it's going to be like a celebration. And I know there's many who tune in who are going to feel the same way. You guys will share in my excitement.
How old is your son?
He just turned 22. But it's been since he was 15. It's been a long time, man. But this is what's been happening with me. And I used to be angry and upset. And man, here's another way, transforming resentment into appreciation. Once you got that story where you can laugh at the story, you've got a great story to share. Survival, overcoming, life lessons, those are gems, right? To be treasured. And my life, man, I got some amazing stories. And and the goal that I have in my heart, sincerely, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know what the world is waiting for is for change, for reform, for greater humility from those who claim to represent us, whether that's in our everywhere. I was imagining earlier today, at some point, because of all the stories I have, I actually see myself getting invited to on some of these other channels, other platforms for conversations. That's my hope, is to become kind of a talking head, I guess, for a while. No, actually, I still want to fill coliseums. I want to do live events and just like, I don't know, remind people to live. We lose sight of living when we're focused on things that we can't get over. That's from experience. And if we get honest with ourselves, we have the capacity to do anything we set our minds to. I'm sure I'm not alone in that confidence. And I set my mind on healing me, getting over my brokenness, my patterns of being broken and unworthy. And here, true responsibility, true freedom comes from true responsibility. We've got to accept responsibility. And I own every one of my failures. Man, I have failed so many times that I understand why people view me and my story as, who's this Jack? He sounds like a failure. He ain't got no results. I tell you what, I've been gaining wisdom. And it's so simple, so obvious, so true. If we want to do something, we got to do it. You got to try. If you don't try, then you'll never know. But at least if we try, we can fail. And every time we fail, we learn a way not to do what we set out to try.
Nah, just don't bother to begin with, Jack. That's the more productive way, obviously.
That's how I used to live. I talked myself out of, who knows?
You're never going to get people or anything to do this or that or the other thing. You can't. Don't even bother trying.
That's the mindset. That's what I mean by people
It's not just a
enabling each
mindset.
other.
It's like a professional statement. You know, like I'm an expert, and I'm telling you, don't even bother trying.
That's the false ego. That's what we keep in count. That's what I mean. Our world is literally insane by a bunch of egoic know-it-alls. Everyone thinks they've got the answers, and they really don't. They're just confused adults who are really behaving like children. But the juvenile sick games that are being played on the theatrics of politics, and I want to play a part in that. I want to join the show.
Yes. And the only way to kind of stay out of that game is you focus on fidelity, verification, shit tests, that kind of thing. That's the only way you can escape this. Otherwise, it's just going to be opinion versus opinion.
Well, yes. This is what I've been facing, though. People think their opinions. Everyone has opinions. Some people believe their opinions are facts. Other people think, well, opinions don't matter, so you don't matter. I don't have to listen to your opinion. What I've been learning, though, is to pay attention. Inside every lie, inside every opinion is some truth. The people are revealing what they are seeing, what's within them. So what I've been learning for myself, the way I feel at peace, the way I convince myself I know, is I go to the facts. And the facts show clearly war is a symptom. It's a symptom of insanity. The evil that's being perpetrated under the guise of war, it's already been identified. Not only is the war itself in Israel and Ukraine, not only is the war itself illegal, there are war crimes being perpetrated regularly. I know that more confidently from Israel than I do Ukraine, but it's pretty common knowledge that where war goes, evil follows. The true costs, right? People lose their lives, lose their freedoms, lose their health. And so the facts show that evil is something, war is something not to be funded, not to be enabled, it's to be stopped. And so right before starting, I saw apparently Bernie
Trump.
Bernie Sanders and others had brought forth a bill to prevent Biden from continuing to fund the Israel. I didn't pay attention, but I know that things are happening right now. And I would love to have a conversation with all the men and women of Congress to kind of change their priorities a little bit, or what they think might be important, and maybe help them realize, right? The common symptom of the egoic mind is people enabling each other, not actually communicating with each other. Well, to overcome the opinions, what I do know is it's very important how we communicate with each other, because if the recipient doesn't feel safe, or they don't have within themselves a reason to care, they will not listen. That's why I've been studying communication, and particularly paying attention to those who are able to have difficult conversations without getting angry. What I believe is a voice of reason. We have this opportunity here in America, right? We're at a different time where collectively we do know that justice can be found. That when we work together, we can figure out what is real, what is not. That's what the court systems are supposed to be, and we're supposed to have fair ways of living. So I feel it in my heart. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way for man like me, and we can bring a few others in too, but to be a voice from the people to the people. And here's what I trust. God, I have faith in God, and it's the biblical one, not the twisted evil one that has the nations murdering each other's children. That's not what I'm talking about. Although that is part of the human story, so there's no denying God's involved in it. But the point is, I believe the laws of creation, the natural order of nature. I don't believe Mother Earth intended to sustain mankind, human people, for all of us to grow up to be selfish liars. And the only reason selfish liars are given power is because others have been convinced that it's okay to be a selfish liar. Donald Trump is a great example of a selfish liar. And he's and so many people are like, they got all this faith in him that he's the answer. Dude, he's confused. He's been paying attorneys and accountants, and he's been paying all these professionals to keep him out of trouble. Man, I will freely share my time and attention to support Donald Trump into becoming a better man, becoming a more authentic man and a better leader. I'd give anything for the chance.
But Jack, this is like the prime time for Louis Tommy to come in and say, "Man, you can't tell Johnson you're bad because of this and that and other thing." So
I know. I know, Hank. This is the crazy part. This is where I'm at. This is my life. I'm living this bizarre life where I love living. I mean, I don't care if it ends. I mean, if I don't wake up tomorrow, I'll be like, good game, man. I've had fun. I've learned much. I've accomplished much. And sincerely, I've already shared everything I've learned pretty much. So
it's time to write a book then. We can share with the nerds that aren't me and Dennison.
Hank, I love it. I've been debating again recently. At the very least, write up a couple of small articles, if not a book, because I know some of the things I say, well, people learn different ways. Some people read better. They learn and understand better through reading and through writing. Maybe I could have some clear, coherent thoughts come through. I took a chance, honestly. I started writing a while ago. I can write. I don't actually enjoy it. So I can write, and I've started writing a few books, but when I got the idea that these goals of trying to communicate peace and reform, when I got those ideas in my head that might be possible, dude, there'll be other people willing to help me write books. There's other people who like writing books, being the ghost writers or whatever. I took a chance because I believe the world is changing. I'm confident the world is changing. The ways of the past are not going to be the same. I see a future where wisdom is appreciated. And there's so many books, so many authors at this time. Plus, you add up all the books that have been in the past. I don't know that we need more books. But I do think, yeah, I probably will. I'll probably write something else soon. Hey, I I just noticed, Paul, I was considering that accusation earlier because you and others have painted that narrative that that's what Jack wants. Jack wants someone else to do it. Okay, let's back up and tell the story a little differently. What does a leader do? A leader captures the talents and efforts and contributions of others. I'm a leader, dude. I will do anything I ask others to do of, but the people I'm hoping to join will have talents that I don't have. And so if people will share their talents, we grow together. The rewards are shared. Here, hey, I appreciate I appreciate the support. We've got to acknowledge, hey, thank you, Hank. Thank you, Hank. We've got to acknowledge there is a connection with our friend, the gorilla, and me. There's
Let,
something. Go
let's
ahead.
assume. Let's assume that's the case. I haven't had an explanation of what's wrong with that. Maybe you don't have the tools. I don't see the whole issue.
With Paul and I working together?
No, I mean, well, that too. But if the story of Jack's story is, hey, get someone else to deal with that, what's the problem? I never had a good explanation yet.
Thank
I
you.
never
Yeah, I
got a
have good
explanation why that's the
ideas.
problem.
I'm not good at writing books.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, don't. But I'd probably be willing to do it. It's just I don't understand Jack's ideas to a standard yet, so it's no point in me attempting it.
I appreciate that recognition, Hank. And that's actually true. What I'm hoping to and this is actually kind of swings back to where maybe you guys could help. if you want. I'm really trying to help improve my ability to communicate so that others do understand what it is I'm saying. And Paul, I friggin' love you, but you're so blind to what you argue for. See, what you argue for and many others do is do everything on your own. Don't trust anyone. Do everything on your own. Well, none of us really succeeds on our own. Someone along the way gave us an opportunity. And that's actually what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to create some opportunities. And I think it is happening. It is coming together. I wrote in my journal earlier today, part of my excitement for the future is I do spend time wondering how it might come together. Now, of course, I wonder too, what's going to happen if it doesn't come together. What am I going to do in March? I don't know what I'm going to do next week, man. So I'm living this life wondering what can be achieved. And then I often wonder, what will things be like when they're different? Every day is different, but it's all by varying degrees. And when I'm wondering, what is my life going to be like when I am invited to these different podcasts, these different conversations, these different events? What will my life be like when? There's more attention from Spokane. I mean, this life, it's crazy. I honestly can't tell if anyone, my mom says she's tuned in and listened. I can't tell if she's paying attention. I can't tell if anyone who knows me has even looked at what I'm doing. But then even if they do look at what I'm doing and they hear the other narratives about me, what do people think? And that's when I realized it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people think. What matters is how we think and what we spend our time thinking about. And if we get honest with ourselves, and we become responsible for ourselves, we'll take control of the power that's in the mind. And when we learn how to focus our mind on what we like more than what, I don't like that word like. If we focus our mind more on what we appreciate rather than the things that bring us discomfort, see, changing the vocabulary, changing the way you tell the story within yourself, the power of words. Well, it's something that the masses have not understood as well as we're learning to today. Because here's another reason why I'm so hopeful. While it appears I'm alone on my journey, I know that I'm not. I've got folks in the community here, part of this, and then online, the people I'm learning from. There's so many people having events, doing things, right, about helping awaken and inspire this world, helping to educate what's going on. We have so many opportunities in this life. The more time we spend on the negative, the less time we have for the joy. So what do we do with Denizen? This is kind of back to your conversation regarding attempting to communicate with those who appear to be on a different place and time. How do we wake people up to the present?
Well, this is kind of where we disagree somewhat. I don't believe everyone has the same capability. I don't believe in a divine, um, foundation for these considerations, and I think that the capability of a human being to uh, evolve spiritually, so to speak, is just as varied as every other trait that you see, like eye color, skin color, hair color, etc. Not all human beings have the same base level or capability. And also come to the conclusion that the only reason humans exist is mutation, diversity. That's how life is. It's how it defeats entropy. It's the only fight we have against it. So we need to have volatility, hate, evil, destruction. Humans do. That's not to say that we couldn't evolve past that. But then I wonder what happens to the universe. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I agree with much of your perception. Where we step, I guess, is in the language regarding the source of creation and divinity. But what you mentioned is something I was observing earlier with the challenge of communicating. It's and what you pointed out, we're all on our own individual paths. And I don't claim to understand the totality of how things work. I just know there is an order to how everything develops. And one of the challenges of communicating is just what you said. Our spiritual, intellectual, emotional development. Those are the barriers that keep us separated. Our awareness, our level of awareness, what we are conscious of, what we know from our perspective, that keeps us separated. But being able to communicate without knowing what is their level of understanding, what do these words mean to them. It's challenging. But brother, I'm confident we are the lifetime. This lifetime that we are living is the opportunity for the world to experience transformation, transforming resentment into appreciation. It brings a healing, it brings a freedom. And we've got wars going on and all of these battles because anger, resentment. I really believe, I don't know how it's going to come together, but I'm pretty confident. All the signs point to this, right? Facts are facts. It doesn't matter opinions. Facts are facts. Wars can end. And when we have humble and honest, authentic people in positions of influence, the world becomes better. So we can create the I believe there's an opportunity in America for us, and it doesn't have to be me, but I sure do want to be a part of this. and so if we can find a way to have conversations with the men and women serving in America's government, we can have a come to reality conversation about what is and is not really happening in this world, and what is and is not really a potential. Behind the wars, every war is it's a conflict, right? And between men and women, that conflict, it comes down to a disagreement. And those disagreements are only as important as we want to believe they are. But because people have chosen to believe all sorts of things, we live in a world of lies. So people are afraid to know what's true. Denizen, that's what we've been experiencing. Some of us who have been outcast a little bit. People who are comfortable in a world of lies.
Well, everybody kind of should be. It's human. We're the mutation, Jack.
We are the new. Yes.
What makes humans strong is the fact that they can cope with really bad anything, so long as it's stable. Right? It's change that they hate more than anything.
Yes.
They rather be miserable so long as it's the same misery they experienced the last, however, whatever. And it's going to continue to be the same misery.
Same is only, well, I believe that people like us, we are the mutations from the society. We've grown organically or whatever, but we see the truth different than others. And I realized this a long time ago in my own personal journey. I just didn't understand how to explain it, but it's true. Those who are comfortable with lies will reject the truth. They'll be afraid to know the truth. Even if the truth is better for them, they're afraid of learning it. And
is it possible that there's some cases where the truth is worse for someone?
I've considered that, and I cannot think of anything where not knowing the truth. I mean, especially if your option is knowing a lie versus knowing the truth, there's nothing. No. Truth always is most important. And frankly, that's how I choose to live. I'd rather know the truth than be living with a lie. I don't want.
So, have you heard of the thought experiment Rocco's Basilisk? It's one where if you don't know about a benevolent super intelligence, it won't really do anything to you. But if you do know about it and don't do everything in your capabilities to make sure it exists, it will punish you after it does.
That's the one with the AI. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have heard of that. And I
I
can't
think the
remember really.
larger argument would be that to be subdued in ignorance by, a super intelligence is arguably the worst scenario. So adding punishment isn't necessarily, that's not going to determine whether or not you're better off. The
Oh,
awareness could lead to some kind of rebellion, perhaps a revolution, or maybe even a synthesis.
Yeah, I
that's a
can't.
good point, but it just gives you a case where, well, maybe ignorance is bliss in a case.
Yes, ignorance is bliss,
Mhm.
100%.
If ignorance is keeping mankind as wage slaves and soldiers, I won't accept it. And that's what's happening. People have grown comfortable with the lies of the American way. I mean, I can
Oh,
only
yeah.
speak as an
They can
American.
stomach a lot more than that, Jack. They have.
Yeah, well,
Again, so long as you don't upset the apple cart. Is that the right terminology?
that's yeah. That's the idea. People are afraid of the radicals, but that's who we are. We're here for a reason, right? We developed into the men and women who we are, women in the audience, but
I'm not the right set of mutations, unfortunately. I was
It,
only mutated enough to be incompatible with society, and like I don't have the proper genes to be motivated to try to save it.
and I'm not really a radical. I'm pretty close to status quo. I'm neoliberal. I'm pretty damn close to status quo, all things considered. So I don't really think I'm
Hank and
radical.
I's mutations are along the lines of being able to see the shit show.
Yeah.
You're the one who wants to try to fix it, Jack. That is definitely not my bag. Now, when I was a younger man, before I learned some things, and I ran into those walls head first and realized a little bit of what reality was like. I was all the like Churchill said, but nah,
we'll
I
see.
don't.
Yes.
I
Now
want to
I'll
get
fix
out
it.
from underneath this albatross, Jack.
Yes.
It's been killing me for decades.
Pretty much. And I would fix the shit show, but I want to trade for something. But if you tell me I should just do it because it's the right thing to do, then I mean we have to define what right really means. Because throwing myself underneath this circus doesn't seem like it will benefit me at all.
Then, in my peace of mind, I also realized, I can't be sure what's true.
Yeah. So if I'm supposed to just offer myself to this system to try to stop it, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
The that's what I mean by the divine anchor, right? That you have. You understand what I mean when I say that? This is, I don't presume that, and so this could very well be the nature of man. And I see, right now, retrospectively, we're looking at the effects of this failed and flawed and toxic society. But we created it. I see that too. I
Well,
see those natures within myself, and I'm supposed to consider myself the solution because I see it in me, Jack. It's
well,
right there, right underneath the surface.
brother, here's what I want you both to consider. Okay, before our paths crossed, maybe you didn't know of these opportunities that I see to accomplish what you said. And see, you've got experience and wisdom that could probably benefit me. And really, what I'm hoping for, I don't need a lifelong commitment. I don't need anybody to do much of anything other than help me get attention, start the conversations. Um, and that can be in Spokane, it can be online, it could even be just following up with some of the ones that I've been trying to do. I don't know what to do.
Oh, well, I got you on Pine Creek show, so I guess mission accomplished for me.
You
What the rest of you
you
gonna
know I'm
do
only
out there in TV land?
I'm only spectatively interested in your mission, Jack. You know, I come here just because I enjoy our conversations, and I sometimes I have benefited myself from your perspective. Has helped me, you know,
Thank
break
you.
free of some loops.
That's my hope. Thank you.
So this turning resentment into appreciation, Jack. Come on, you didn't give me too much.
It's all up to you. What I can offer you is sincerely, yes, you can. And if you're willing, actually, the offer is there privately, of course, but even generically, if you want to discuss it without many details, I mean, it's
Yeah, maybe we can discuss it after
sure.
the stream. One thing I did want to mention earlier, though, that I realized when you were talking and not giving me what I wanted. I have not really dealt with loss, I don't think, because I've had such an abundant mindset, right? So, but in a way, that means I've had to actually face loss because I've never really been confronted with it. And there was a second part to that too that I was thinking, but I can't remember now. This was like an hour ago. Oh,
Hey,
no, go ahead.
I resonate with that experience. I hadn't really experienced loss in my life either. Part of the way I was protected from loss was I didn't really have many people I was close to, right? You don't have anybody, you're not going to lose anybody. um, but that's where, dude, here, actually, if I was working with someone, these are some of the things, actually, I'll suggest it anyway. A practice from my experience, right? The lessons I learned are so valuable. You don't have to go through the experience of truly losing this or that or whatever. But if you go through the mental path, you take yourself through the loss of something else, you can experience the loss someone else feels and learn from them, from that experience. The power of our mind is so amazing, but it can be the devil's tool, so to say. Our mind can create our hell, and not being mentally prepared for things in life. I thought I was strong. I thought I was right about a lot of things, but it wasn't until I woke up to learn different ideas, different perspectives, started seeing me differently. Holy crap, man. I was a mess. I was, I mean, and here's where I kind of understand. I understand why my son wouldn't want me around if I was that way. But everyone shoved me away after I started working on myself. Makes no sense to me. And so, huh?
Go ahead.
Well, it goes to where my hope is. I'm just trying to create opportunities to talk to people, a chance to succeed. I don't know, even if given the full attention of everyone in Congress or, a full week with Donald Trump, I don't know if anything could work, but I know I want to try. And I know what makes sense. It makes no logical sense to me for governments and corporations to do things that exploit the planet, that, fund wars. It makes no sense for secrets to be legal. Because, of course, you create a system where secrets are legal and everyone who can afford it is protected by teams of creative attorneys. Dude, we've got such a criminal racket going on here. It's called the banking industry. The governments and corporations just profit from it. We're losing. The people are losing. And we're not losing. That's the wrong attitude. We have so many opportunities to transform this world in this lifetime. It can happen like that. It took me a year. My path is from where I was, from where I started to the goal that I set for myself for the inner work. It took me a year, but I didn't know where I was going, and I had no direct gurus, or I had no communication with any experts. But the inner path, can be found immediately. Then staying on the path that's where the practice comes. But what transformed me was learning different ideas. Simple as that. I was able to learn from other people like us, and different ideas allowed me to find faith, love. I can't explain it fully, but the love of my life, I love living so much. I didn't know living could feel good, but it does. And nobody in Spokane seems to care either way, good or bad. What was this one, Hank?
So here's a little issue. So, this is Matthew 20. We go. Think is it Matthew 20, Matthew 30? Matthew 30, 27 through 31. Jesus heals two blind men, but tells them to keep a secret. I'll go and read it out. And Jesus passed from there. Two blind men followed him, crying aloud, "Have mercy on us, son of David." When he had entered the house, the blind men came to him, and Jesus said to them, "Do you believe that I am able to do this?" They said to him, "Yes, Lord." But then he touched their eyes, saying, "According to your faith, be it done to you." And their eyes were opened, and Jesus sternly warned them, "See that no one knows about it." But they went away and spread his fame through all of that district. So Jesus himself told them to keep a secret.
I understand. There was a time, but here he was really saying don't go advertise it, because in the greater story he knew his time was not yet there. As I understand the story, that's the reason he cautioned them, was don't really go advertise it. Hey, I've got Lou in the back, and I'd rather not today, Lou. And Smith, absolutely not. Until you're willing to actually, you live here in the same town as me, Smith. I could easily help you. You could easily help me, but you don't want to get over your distrust. So, Smith, when you learn to accept what I'm offering, you know how to give me a call. I'll meet you anywhere, and I'll even buy the lunch. Whatever you want. Holy cows. See, when I do these live streams, it's not really a character. This is Jack. This is my life being shared. And there's something happening in our world that gives me a lot of hope. In my life, I mean, honestly, I know how I've been. I know what I think. I know what I say. I know what I do. I don't know why the results are what they are. But what I have been learning to do is to accept full responsibility for every time I have failed to properly communicate. And I accept full responsibility for everything I've done. And I feel good about who I am, who I'm becoming, because I really do think, guys, we are history being lived. And Denizen, maybe it wasn't time in the past, but I'm telling you, things are changing. I trust there's reasons that all of our paths have crossed. And I don't think it's just for entertainment, to be honest.
No, we have similar views and similar interests, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And it's all coming together soon.
I realize some of my resentment comes from the fact that lately I haven't been able to turn it into a learning experience. It's been stuff that I already know, and I'm repeating it unnecessarily.
So you repeated a pattern, so you're judging yourself then for not have learned it. And that's probably where the resentment's coming.
Yeah.
Can you forgive yourself for not learning? I mean, was it a real tragic mistake?
Probably. No, it's just such an energy and resource dump.
Well,
And so I basically put my life on pause in many ways.
time. Yes,
Yeah.
the irreplaceable time that was lost. I know that one, man. That's a good reason to be pissed off.
Yeah, there's some long-term friendships involved, and the other people are making it very easy to be resentful. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean, Jack?
You have enablers. Enabling resentment? Or
well,
they're reminders.
Their behavior is just decayed to the level that is contemptible. And so it makes it easier for me to succumb to resenting it.
Okay. But that's still your inner dialogue, your inner resolve to find. So if it wasn't a substantial issue, other than you lost some time, okay, that can be that. Admittedly, that's where my wounds start creeping up when I start thinking about my son. It's been 6 fucking years, man. What the hell? That's time I'll never get back. The first year of his child, I'll never know, right? But time lost either way, where we've devoted our time and then the investments disappear. You're worth more. Your future is worth more. And your future really is going to matter depending on how you feel. And how you feel is based upon your wounds. It's up to you to heal. There's benefits to it. And, ooh, life lesson for me. You may be absolutely right. Everything was right. They were completely wrong. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It does not matter if you want to feel good. You've got to decide that how you feel and how you move is more important than the past. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I found solace in is realizing my faith in the divine, right? The universe. In relationship and context to the physical universe and the eternal light show, I'm nothing. And my life actually showed me this. Jack, you're nothing. You're thrown away. Don't come back. And so this is what helped me to grow sincerely, kind of swinging back the conversation again. I'd lived a pretty protected life. I mean, hell, I worked six years at one job in the military. I sold cars for a little bit in between there, and then I got hired at the post office. Right. So once I moved out of the house, I had pretty steady employment. Didn't really have to worry about where the next paycheck was going to come from or stuff like that. I didn't have to go apply and, you know, reinvent myself too much. I lived a pretty blessed life, and I was miserable because I was filled with resentment, shit I couldn't get over. Well, my life took me through the hell of alcoholism and depression, and I understand how that feels. It sucks. But I also know that heaven, the kingdom of heaven, that's in the biblical story. That's what the gospel is supposed to be, is the truly good news. Mankind received a confirmation and the truth when we repent. When we repent and change our ways, we get rewarded with a better life. We feel better inside. And when we feel better, we're a hell of a lot more likely to live, to move forward, to step out. New relationships, old relationships, they can break us and wound us, and we'll stay damaged and hurt, and we may miss the most beautiful opportunities. I did that. I don't want to live with regrets anymore. And so I pay attention to how I'm spending my time. And I know from practice and paying attention, how I spend my time is going to be largely based on how I'm feeling, which is directly related to how I'm thinking. And what I've been learning to do is this practice, reminding myself love, walking with love. Love is a wholeness. It brings a balance where you need nothing. You have everything to offer. To me, that's what the gospel of Christ is for. It's to show us the kingdom of heaven is here and now. And I actually think this is what time is unfolding. We are experiencing this spiritual reclamation, spiritual revival, a conscious awakening. It is happening all around the world. I want people to feel good about life and the future. The best way to feel good about the future is to have clarity on what you want, and then to work each day towards that. Because even if you don't achieve your goal, as long as you take steps towards it, you can feel fulfillment. And fulfillment, it fills us. We don't have a lacking and a regret. Oh man, that still needs to get done. Oh, I still haven't got around to that. I used to live that way, but not anymore. So, Denizen, what if, I don't know, actually, I don't know the right question to ask. I wanted to bring it back to this what if, though. What if we are? What if all we got to do is find a way to get the attention? Get the attention of other people, people in positions of authority. I would love to talk to anyone in any level of government who's willing to consider what I'm saying, that it's time to bring reforms to this world.
I have personal experience to the contrary. I'm convinced of the opposite. And I could be wrong. And I also don't dismiss the potential for change just because things can't happen right this minute. But I see that the way things are makes perfect sense to these people. I've been able to think like them after 30 years of trying, and just a little bit. Like I can like barely tap into the stream for a millisecond or two to see things from their perspective, and they like things the way that they are. They're happy with this shit. They think war is great.
They're comfortably numb. They're very likely dead inside, as are many of the people who place all their hope and faith in them. People are dead inside because they've lost the spark of life.
That's
What
most of us, but the hierarchy is passionate about their evil. They're
Yeah,
not
they
dead
are.
inside.
Yes.
They have the same passion and belief and conviction that you do, but it's just a different vision.
Yeah.
Well, here's a couple of things. I mean, in line with what you were saying, Denizen, this comment, authority is illusional. I used to believe in authority. I used to give, in my mind, I gave people with wealth and authority more power than me. Now I know quite different. I know
That's
that
what makes you the most susceptible to bias, though, Jack, is because you're capable of it. You're capable of the transformation, of being brainwashed by the system and breaking loose of it and then seeing it from the outside. So now you have the unique experience of exactly what it takes in order to shake the mental torpor. What I submit to you, though, is that not everybody can do that.
I agree. I don't expect others. Well, I do encourage others. I do encourage others. If you've heard the stories or you've seen Jack at City Council or whatever, if you can do a better job, go do it. Go educate and
Right.
share ideas. But I do believe, Denizen, there's something unique about my life, the career path, the way I've developed, what I've been studying, what I've been led to believe. There is something unique. Most people don't have, there's a number of variables. I'm still not able to clearly communicate the ideas and the things I know. I know there's other people who can explain what I'm saying much better, right? They've been experienced lecturers for
And or
decades.
differently.
Yes,
And
yes,
sometimes not even necessarily better, just in a way that someone else needs it, you know?
yes. That's actually what I've envisioned, Denizen, is there's a lot of people like me, like us. We're a little bit different. We've been working on ourselves. We've learned lessons. We've got wisdom. We are the new ideas here to help awaken the world to the idea that, hey, there's better ways. There's better ways of living. In my small-minded patterns of being an alcoholic, spending time at the bar all the time, I didn't think about life other than what I was living. And my buddies, we were just enabling each other with time wasting practices. Oh, see, this is why I know I'm built for leadership. Okay. Because I think like a boss. I'm all about productivity, getting things done the most efficient way. I'm also about safety, though. I'm a leader, man.
Those aren't our leaders right now, Jack. You you just described Mr. Rogers. You will never even get a position in middle management with that kind of
I know.
attitude.
That's why I know the society is wrong. It's time for us to flip this stuff upside down. And I think I am created
Isn't
for
that
this.
violent action? Flipping stuff upside down.
It's only their beliefs. That's the only thing. This is this is my life. I have harmed no one. no one. And I have hurt no one. I've challenged people's beliefs. The human ego is very violent when it rejects what is in front of it. And that can be in the beliefs as well. That's why I got assaulted. I watched my mistakes happening as I kept pushing upset people, trying to get them to see that what they were saying was untrue, unreal. But here's what I think, what I trust. We are the saints. When we humble ourselves, I shared this with someone else, well, with Flow State. We are all saints. When we humble ourselves to being good people, when we can humbly accept that's our true nature, we really are good people. If we can see others as good people too, especially, that's when you know you're a good person, when you can see the goodness in others. And if we realize we're all good people, humbly, we can allow ourselves to grow in our saintliness.
I see a contradiction. If we realize we're all good people, I mean, without exception, then why do we need to educate some of the good people to rearrange the system? Because don't good people make good systems?
Well, there's a goodness. There's a goodness to all people. Now, it doesn't mean that people aren't capable of evil. There are people who are committed to evil and have committed evil. But generally, the greatest population I've ever dealt with, it's all pretty good people. Some of them are irritable, some of them are hard to understand, but some of them stink, some of them are just rude, but there's a quality within us all. The world hasn't really paid attention to quality. It's been focused on quantity, right? It's all the material rewards. It's all about the temporary happiness, chasing short-term profits. It's what has driven mankind insane.
Okay. So here's an issue. We're starting to get in the realm of feelings, but it's gonna be like my feelings versus your feelings, and this degenerates so quickly. You can say, well, I'm feeling this way, and you want to do this and feel this way, but my feelings are better. You should take my feelings and do what the way I want to tell you. That's a way to, if you want to get in the fight quickly, that's a good way to get in one. And I don't really want to go there.
Yeah, I'm not presenting that. I'm suggesting that facts determine. Here's what should happen. Facts should determine our feelings. I mean, our feelings, yeah, it's okay to feel sad. It's even okay to be moments of anger, moments of fear. It's normal for us to feel those. But people don't let facts determine their feelings. They let their feelings determine facts. People who let their feelings determine facts have chosen that war is an acceptable option. I'd really like to speak with, I know there's a network of people from the US government and the ambassadors and the State Department and all this other crap they made up. It's time for men and women to join together to create a world where the truth matters. It's all that matters to me.
You tapped into my religion, my ex-religion, I should say.
This is what I've been saying truthfully in
I had
my
a crisis
life.
of faith.
Mm. There's something, okay, then that means there's something within yourself you've got to reconcile, because what you said, I know this is why we get along. We think very similarly, all three of
Yeah.
us. Truth in my life is God. It's all I want to know is the truth. I don't give a shit about people's opinions or irrelevant ideas. I care about what is true. I had
Then our problems are with God themselves, and because God, we exist in God, and God has a world with balance in it, and we don't agree with that. So our problems directly with God. We never mind skip talking to all these people. We had to talk to God themselves and make them say, "Hey, fix this world." And I
I
don't think that's
know
going to go anywhere.
I know God works through you and I. My way to talk to God is through me and through you. And I don't know how it's all going to come together. I really don't. But I don't have any issues with God. I think this is what a lot of religions have done. Religions have convinced a lot of good men and women to use their beliefs as an excuse. I just watched some fascinating discussion with some guy's a Christian theologian, scholar, and he's presenting the case of, I don't remember the scenario, but where they murdered all the Canaanites. Some part in the Bible about that, and this guy's presenting the case that it's goodness that brings that. Why did I bring that up? People believing in lies. In my life, truth is my God. Now, um, love lords over me. I live for love. Love leads me to the truth. I believe that's the simple message that was revealed through the Bible. It is the truth, right? God is true. God is the truth. It's good to be with the truth. It's good to know the truth. But if we're not willing to humble ourselves to the truth, to a greater truth, we live with this pride and arrogance. So for me, another silver lining I find is I've consciously, I guess, I would rather know the truth than not. And if someone hurts me and shows that at this time I'm not what they want, well, it, I can appreciate the truth. Because the truth is, in this moment, we get to continue. We get to go and move on. We can start over. We can reinvent ourselves. We can move away. We can start a new life however you want. Anything is possible if we allow anything to be possible. And if we allow anything to be possible, which is what I try to do, that means my resentment can turn into appreciation. And actually, kind of this line, when people get convinced of an idea, they'll reject the truth, they'll reject the answers. My son, his mother, many others from my past, they've chosen to believe lies about me. And they're keeping me, who I am, they're keeping me a secret from themselves. This is how I've been learning about the egoic patterns of denial, enabling. The world is literally nuts with confusion and fear. So, how about this? We don't have to know all the answers, right? We don't have to know all the answers in order to get to a destination. But if you can join me in brainstorming, maybe not now, but at any time, brainstorm ideas. How do we get these ideas into the minds of those in DC? I How do we get Jack to DC? How do we get the attention?
So here's my issue. If we made it so anything is possible, then we can have INCSOC, English Socials, come and say war is peace and say your mission's complete. I don't think that's what we actually want, though.
Well, we want truth. We want the facts to show that wars have ended, debts have been forgiven, and that mankind is transforming. And I believe when we work together, it gets easier. It gets easier to convince liars to say, hey, no, I was wrong. And we have a lot of opportunities in this day and age under the systems that have evolved and developed, despite how corrupt they are. We have opportunities for many people inside governments, inside corporations, to start standing above these oaths or these non-disclosure agreements. It's time for people to stand up about whistleblowing, exposing the corruption. It is time for disclosure. And this is where I say it's biblical.
So, is your beliefs equivalent to truth?
Which belief am I being questioned?
Any of them. Is your beliefs equivalent to truth?
Why are you asking?
Because I'm confused again.
Right. But you're asking questions for your confusion, but not to understand me. I mean, Hank.
With all my confusion, it's not the same thing as understanding. See.
My beliefs are based off of facts. You asked if my beliefs were facts. No, my beliefs are information, just like everyone else's opinions and beliefs. Those are information, but there is an objective truth. I don't claim to know the future. This is where I might be a little bit different than others. I don't presume failure. I don't predict that I can't. What I do want to do is create an opportunity to try. Sometime in the future, I hope to speak with, like I said, I hope to grow on in many different ways. And my wonder is, I wrote it in the journal, who is going to be first? Am I going to succeed in my family, my profession, my social, my financial? Where am I going to succeed first? That's what I'm wondering. I see them all coming together at the same time, though, somehow. Because, see, that's what miracles do. Miracles, sometimes it's just the coordination and the perfect alignment of a number of different variables. And when a number of different variables encounter, the coming together, those variables can be people, those variables can be nature, whatever. Miracles happen. And I tell you what, when you're in the midst of a problem, we'll go to the thumbnail with that. When we're in the midst of a mess, when we're in the midst of a problem, it's really easy to get caught up in that paradigm as though there's nothing else that matters, no other ideas. Those problems, those messes can be overwhelming, but especially when we unite together, we are here for each other. There's no other reason than that. That's my impression. Because that's what nature is. We're all a part of nature. And everything in nature is for other things and itself. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling done, but you guys have just been patiently. What are you feeling, guys? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we just don't talk all that much.
I appreciate it.
I was thinking it makes sense from a Christian perspective, and I don't understand why I don't find more Christians preaching the same thing that you do.
Denizen, this is honestly the testimony of me. When I finally did turn to the Bible and I started reading it myself and listening to other lectures and stuff, I don't understand why everyone's so confused, other than they were taught wrong. I learned that a long time ago in my life, though. When I was a kid, I knew other people were taught wrong. I knew many of the teachers, they didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. I saw that in elementary school, man. It's like,
Yes, but how do you know that you're right and you're not just mistaking like Terrence Howard? I don't want you to become another Terrence Howard.
I hope not to do that as well. However, I feel
I
pretty.
mean, that's the same spectrum, man. Ending all wars, getting the human race to embrace its love and to let go of fear. I mean, that's right up there with 1 × 1 = 1 almost, you know?
Yes and
But
no.
if you're going to dream big. You know? I'm not
Yes.
going to hate on you for it, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd actually love to talk to that guy, Terrence. He seems pretty sharp, but not all of his stuff makes sense. And maybe that's where I'm at too. But here's what I realized. That's what history has shown mankind. The story of Tesla, right? One of the most brilliant minds. It's he died alone and broke. His fucking relationship was a pigeon, right? Mankind has a history of overlooking and rejecting many of the wise gifts that have come forth because many men and women, they were kind of ahead of their time. I don't think I'm ahead of my time. I felt behind in my development, my education, when I started learning different things from other people. It was, again, why is the world so confused? The only answer I can offer as to why I've been able to have comfort and shelter, and I haven't really missed out on much in life, despite everything that's happened, it's God, man. This is God's doing. This is God's story. How we feel, how we think, and especially how we treat each other. It matters. We got to start by treating ourselves better. When we start treating ourselves better, as though we are better, if we treat ourselves like we are becoming saintly, we are becoming whatever, greater, healthier, wiser, more successful, whatever. When we treat ourselves that way, we become that. How about we continue that practice? We treat ourselves better with more kindness, compassion, encouragement, giving ourselves the encouragement maybe the world hasn't offered. Anytime we can share something positive with others, I think we should. Because that's why we're here. Hey, I caught this. Why is the world so confused? Because confusion is an easy scapegoat. I'm being polite when I say confused. The reality is, most people have chosen to believe in lies. My ex-wife, my son, Margot, Snafu, Tommy, all these characters, they chose to believe in lies. Now, I know they're not abnormal. They're just like everybody else in this society. I used to believe in lies myself. And so, Hank, you asked regarding me. Number one, I'm not claiming to know anything other than right now. Right now is where I am and who I am. I know what I've learned in my life. It was the truth, learning new ideas, new information, answers that were already there. When I grew in the truth, I started transforming. And in my search for the truth, it brought me a lot of pain and sorrow and loss and all that crap. But what I found is love. Love is the reason I live. What good is love if you can't share it? I look forward to sharing more. And this is what I mean. My life transformed. I was no longer a part of the world I used to be a part of, and I've been learning how to live independent. It is only me I can count on, even trying to figure out good ideas. So when you don't have another perspective, at least conversations with other people, at least bad ideas, even at least give you something to think about, something different than your own. It is easy to convince ourselves of lies if we have other people who will lie around us. That's actually what I see happening a lot. It's happening on so many levels. The political realm, online, liars enable liars. Liars believe lies. Liars can't be trusted. Well, they can be trusted to be confused. Sorry, I just realized I took us off on another tangent. I'm
No,
feeling like
we're not on a tangent at all.
okay. I actually feel like it's probably time to shut it down. Any parting thoughts?
I'm good.
I'm resentful that you did not cure my resentment.
You
I'm
know
not.
where hey, the answer is you.
Well, maybe a little.
The answer is you.
Jack, why do I keep repeating the same thing over and over again when I've already learned the lesson?
Maybe you haven't.
Why can't I walk the path? Maybe I haven't. That's a good point. It feels like I have. It feels pretty stupid.
You may have learned a different lesson. There may be another lesson to be found. And what I'd like you to consider is maybe you know more than you know. Your self-doubt is creating your limits. And you are on your path. The only thing that prevents you from accepting that is your beliefs. Makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So just you change your beliefs, and what happened to the facts?
The facts come from the beliefs, but here's what I found. The only facts that truly matter is now. Right? And depending on our topic, now may have a specific facts to be recalled or brought up. But the truest fact is right now. And another fact is when I am caught up in memories, when I'm caught up in labels or resentment, my mind is not calm. That's a fact. So I know that the best ideas I find, they're found when my mind is silent, when my mind is calm. So that is the fact I seek constantly in the present. I want my mind to be calm, to be present and united with my heart in the present, because it's in the heart where I honestly know what I know.
When my mind is calm, it tells me to touch the stove again.
Why?
Well, I mean, in this case, I would argue it's love.
You'd make
you
the
took
excuse to go again. Okay.
I forget exactly what you said before when we discussed this offline a couple of weeks ago, but a part of what you said was to try to embrace love as a response. and I saw, we talked about some details, and I saw how that could work, and I tried it, and it did. It brought me some peace of mind. But that's I don't know if that's sustainable.
How about this? What I think I heard from you is the awareness that you may use love as an excuse to go touch the hot stove again, to go repeat a lesson that you know you've learned. Is that right?
Well, I almost have a different perspective if I look through the lens of love, and I I doubt the lesson.
Okay. Then it is possible it's a different lesson for a different time. I don't know. And you know what? Regardless, where I was going to go with that is self-love. Before we move, we got to realize there is a balance. There is a balance each of us has to learn between being humble and forgiving and service, being willing to give, but still having enough self-love that we don't become the ridiculous doormat, right? The one who keeps going back to the stove. So there is a line in there, but brother, your awareness and at least your willingness to look, healing is right there. It's waiting to be found. And then, dude, once I found ways to laugh at myself about my past beliefs, I have so much friggin' fun, dude. I have so much fun because it feels better to laugh than it does to cry. So, hey, I'd love to talk if you're willing or you're interested. Let's talk again offline.
Yeah, I'll message you. I gotta.
Yeah.
I
I'm ready to wrap her up, though. Thank you, my brother.
Good conversation.
Yep.
I appreciate you. I'm going to drop you guys out. Thank you so much. Papa Luigi, I loved you. I do love you, you crazy ass Canadian. But I'm not going to bring you up, my friend. I haven't come to the confidence that you're willing to have serious conversations with me yet. So sincerely, hey, New Guru, thank you. I actually, Denizen and Hank, I truly enjoyed those conversations. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys did too. And like I said, if the slow tempo of Jack bothers you, please step away, come back, speed it up. I want you to enjoy what's being shared, but I do hope it comes through, because really transforming resentment into appreciation, something I didn't suggest, but it is a battle. It's something we all deal with because life brings us pain. Life brings betrayal. Shit happens. Okay. And the stuff that happens in our lives, that's when we discover who we are. That's where we discover what we're made of, when the stuff really starts coming together and things start really falling apart. That's where you discover what you're made of. What have you been prepared for? So it is easy to get caught up in the they're wrong and I'm so right and oh, I'm so hurt and they were so. It might be right. Okay. But carrying around these unresolved battles, trying to punish what? Blame punishes ourself. Hate punishes ourself. Resentment hurts ourselves. All we're doing with these labels and judgments is we're making excuses to stay divided. And really, it is often, from what I've found, the people we hate the most, the things we cannot understand, those are where the lessons are found. Because that enemy That enemy you may encounter, it might actually be your best friend. Frankly, that's a pattern I'm actually kind of counting on, if I'm honest, because lots of people here online, you've been a part of the Talcottian journey. You know that Jag's got a lot of enemies, a lot of critics and accusers, a lot of opposers in this reality. But you know what? I know who I am. I'm a pretty simple guy. I live a simple life. And I'd rather love than to be right. But I do live with love. Love is the way we're designed. I didn't understand that. The world may not look like that, but it is what I've learned to be true. To truly know love, it requires appreciation. Okay. So here, the secret of walking with love, it's to be grateful. Be grateful to yourself when you're kind. Be grateful to others when they're kind. Be grateful that you see the sun shining. Be grateful you see the sun set. Be grateful. Be kind. Be joyous. Be faith filled. And when we are all those things, man, love brings love, moves. Love, there is that Holy Spirit, the Holy Spirit of love. I'm going to wrap it up here. May peace be with you as the reminder of this stream, and sincerely, thank you to all of you. I look forward to what the future brings. We'll see. Until next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless. Peace.